believe that's a sunrise over New York City.
Mhm.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing great.
Fantastic. Let's find out about faith, belief, and vision.
All right, and see how they work together. All special relationships have sin as their goal. The special relationships are bargains with reality, together with the seeming union. I'm sorry, making up words here. Let's try that again. All special relationships have sin as their goal. The special relationships are bargains with reality, toward which the seeming union is adjusted. Forget not this: to bargain is to set a limit, and any brother with whom you have a limited relationship, you hate. You may attempt to keep the bargain in the name of fairness, sometimes demanding payment of yourself, perhaps more often of the other. Thus, in the fairness, you attempt to ease the guilt that comes from the accepted purpose of the relationship, which is to place limits on your brother and yourself, which is to make us sinful. And that is why the Holy Spirit must change the egoic special relationships purpose of sin and limitation and transform it to make the special relationship holy and thus useful to the Holy Spirit and harmless to you.
To place limits on your brother is to place limits on yourself. The egoic special relationship is an attempt to place limits on what God created as unlimited. This is egoic arrogance. If the ego could actually limit the unlimited Son of God, the ego would have power to change the will of God. The ego, which is an effect of the thought of the split minded Son, would have achieved dominion over the source that created the Son. Effect follows cause. The effect has no power over its source. The effect is powerless without its source. For all power flows from the original source, like light from the sun. In the egoic special relationship, we all agree to give up something in exchange for some gift we believe we lack. We fail to see our brother and ourselves as perfect, whole, and complete. The giving involves some form of sacrifice. We place limits on both parties in the relationship. For example, we'll say, I'll love you if you cook and clean my house. This is not love, but a form of bartering. Love does not limit and restrict the recipients of one's love. This bartering supports the idea of lack and separation. If we could limit the unlimited, this would be a sin against our brother, ourselves, and God. Since we're the effect of the love of God, we cannot change our source's creation. The Holy Spirit takes the ego's special relationship and transforms its purpose from an egoic witness for the separation to an advocate for the union of the sonship with the oneness of the mind of God.
If you accept this change, that the special relationship's purpose is to align with the Holy Spirit for the return of the sonship to truth, you have accepted the idea of making room for truth. The source of sin, egoic mind's belief in limitation and lack, is gone. You may imagine that you still experience the egoic special relationships effects, but the sin of limitation is not your purpose, and you no longer want separation. No one allows a, what is that word there? Oh, a purpose to be replaced while he still desires that purpose. And nothing is so cherished and protected as is a goal the mind accepts. This goal that the mind still desires and accepts will follow grimly or happily but always with faith and with the persistence that faith inevitably brings. The power of faith is never recognized if faith is placed in sin. Now, there's a statement.
Mm-hmm.
But the power of faith is always recognized if faith is placed in love. Wow, I like that.
Mm-hmm. By changing our purpose of the special relation from limitation to love, we abandon the ego's thought system. Love and forgiveness are the paths to recovery of the truth. That was great. This is the path of the Holy Spirit's thought system. When we place our faith in sin, we limit our creative force, power to the field of insane dreams.
May the force be with you.
These dreams of limitation never become part of God's reality, and they can't be shared. This is our provisional reality stuff that we talk about.
Mhm. Right.
Due to our belief in limitation, we make illusions rather than co create with mind of God. If our faith is placed in love, we co create with God. Our belief in sin cannot limit the mind of God. When we deny our creative power, we also fail to recognize that we are the source of our dream of world of perception, dream world of perception. We never recognize that we're the cause, not the effect, of the belief of separation. It's only a belief that we're separated. But when we wake up and realize we're actually connected, that belief disappears. Faith placed on limitation can only appear to have power within the insane mind of the dreamer. The nightmare is only scary when you're in the dream, when you're in the nightmare. Once you wake up, it's all gone.
Mm-hmm.
Due to faith in sin, we will experience limitation and separation as our provisional reality. We're keeping ourselves locked in a jail with only three walls. Due to this power of faith in our mind's belief, we argue for our limitation. Can't you guys see I'm in jail here? Don't you see the bars all around me? And don't look behind me at that open wall where I could walk out if I chose to, because I see bars in front of me. Due
Oh,
to this power of faith in our mind's beliefs, we argue for our limitation, and we get to keep them. Yet illusions can never affect the mind of God and thus can never be real. Eventually, the dreamer must reawaken to the truth that he's created by the unlimited and therefore must be as he was created, perfect, whole, and complete.
why is it strange to you that faith can move mountains? This is indeed a little feat for such power as faith. For faith can keep the Son of God in chains as long as he believes he is in chains.
They're my chains. You stay away from my chains. They're
That's
mine.
right. That's right. I like them. For faith can keep the Son of God in chains as long as he believes he is in chains. And when the split mind is released from its self imposed chains, it will be simply because he no longer believes in the chains of limitation, withdrawing faith that the chains can hold him and placing faith in his freedom instead. It is impossible to place equal faith in opposite directions. Well, if you have one string and you have a horse pulling it one way and horse going the other way, that rope ain't going anywhere. What faith you give to sin, you take away from holiness. And what faith you offer holiness has been removed from sin.
Believe in the ego and you place your faith in the ego's belief of limitation, separation, sin, guilt, and fear. The ego is our own personal identity, who we believe we are inside of this body. We call it the ego body sometimes. Whatever our mind desires, we will create a perception that will make what we desired appear real to us. Thoughts will shape our provisional reality to make our dream appear real, and thus the dream will become the governor of our conscious awareness. Our mind cannot obey two masters. Our decision maker is constantly choosing between love and fear. What we judge, we fear. When we no longer value fear and judgment, we'll drop the egoic thought system.
Faith and belief and vision are the means by which the goal of holiness is reached. Through faith and belief and vision, the Holy Spirit leads you to the real world and away from all the egoic illusions where your faith was laid. This return to the truth of the real world is the Holy Spirit's direction, the only one the Holy Spirit ever sees. And when you wander, the Holy Spirit reminds you there is but one proper direction. The Holy Spirit's faith and his belief and vision are all for you. And when you have accepted the Holy Spirit's faith, belief, and vision completely, instead of your own egoic faith, belief, and seeing, you will have need of the Holy Spirit's faith, belief, and vision no longer. This is where the bold letters
Yeah, it's all right. It's fine.
tedious. For faith and vision and belief are meaningful only before the state of certainty is reached. In heaven, faith, belief, and vision are unknown, yet heaven is reached through the Holy Spirit's faith, belief, and vision.
Certainty is the return to knowledge. Knowledge requires no faith, belief, and vision because you just know. The world of perception arose out of the lack of certainty because perception implies more than one. The Holy Spirit's faith, belief, and vision is needed to overcome the doubt that arose from the mad idea that the separation was real and that the oneness has been shattered. With the return to knowledge, there is nothing to perceive. There's only the absolute, unchanging truth, which just is.
It is impossible that the Son of God lack faith, but the split minded can choose where he would have his faith be placed. Faithlessness is not a lack of faith, but faith in nothing, which is the illusion of the egoic thought system. Faith given to illusions does not lack power, for by his faith in illusions does the Son of God believe that he is powerless. Thus is he faithless to himself, but strong in faith in his illusions about himself, that he is limited. For faith, perception, and belief, your for faith, perception, and belief, your egoic mind made as means for losing certainty and finding sin. Oh, okay. I have to read the whole piece here. Back to 3. Faith given to illusion does not lack power, for by his faith in illusions does the Son of God believe that he is powerless. Thus is he faithless to himself, but strong in faith in his illusions about himself that he is limited. For faith, perception, and belief, your egoic mind made as means for losing certainty and finding sin. This mad direction was your choice, and by your faith in what you chose, you made what you desired. Works every time, either way.
It's true. Our egoic belief that we could be separated from the will of God made the world of perception an illusion. We've given our power of creation or making to the belief that we're limited ego bodies in competition with other limited ego bodies. We made this world of limitation to support this belief until we change, and until we change our belief about ourselves, we'll be unable to choose for the thought system of the Holy Spirit. Being in victim consciousness, the Holy Spirit's first job is to reawaken the decision maker to reclaim his power of choice from and over the ego. We must relearn that we are the cause of all we perceive within our dream. Pick up some more tomorrow.